for both of us. We both dreamed of this. Since we started out, we said we wanted to be the best.
His vanquished opponent gracious in defeat.
Respect to him, respect to boxing. This is boxing, and you fight the best. Win, lose or draw, this is what about.
All along, the 28-year-old from Sydney had Melbourne's Greek community in his corner.
Look, I'm disappointed, man, but George is a ferocious warrior, as you know.
Complete robbery, if I'm completely honest.
While it wasn't the result that many were hoping for today, it's clear a rematch is on the cards.
I'm going to change a few things and get him back end of this year.
I want to thank George Kambosos and all of Australia for coming out. Thank you, George, for giving me the shot.
Despite the loss, the Australian will walk away with a pay packet rumoured to be worth at least $10 million. Dougal Beattie, 9 News.
All right, Big J, that's a good place to start off the video. So Kambosos is supposed to walk away with $10 million. Now, there were some rumors on social media that I really didn't take to be credible until, of course, Channel 9 brought it up. But that's not saying that they really know what they're talking about either, because they said, rumors are. But the rumors are, that Kambosos is going to walk away with $10 million or so dollars. Devin Haney about $2.8 million or so. And this is just the reported numbers. I'm pretty sure that Haney's probably getting, more, from Top Rank. They have like TV deals, and I don't really like getting into the mumbo jumbo of the money for real. But overall, if that is true for George Kambosos, that's going to put him up in the top 5 of boxing earners for 2022 so far. Maybe top 6, top 5. As far as reported numbers. How many were in attendance at the fight, Big J, and what was the buzz like? Do you feel that George Kambosos should be making that type of money because you can feel that the event generated that much?
Well, first things first, if you got paid $10 million, he can give me back that money. I bet on him to win, so he can chuck me that money back. But there was a good 42,000 people at that fight. The buzz was sensational. It was an absolutely fantastic night. Obviously, bar George putting on a complete it looked like he just didn't show up. A completely lackluster. Well, the fight was piss poor boring. It was a dreadful fight to watch. Like Haney just threw the jab, and then the rest of us are sitting in astonishment wondering what the fuck was George doing, because he didn't do anything. There was glimmers of, aggression and all that sort of stuff, but
he would say
the actual fight itself was poor, but the atmosphere, the night, the event, everything was just absolutely fantastic, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Yeah, but I'm talking about
watching the main event, but the rest of it was fantastic.
But do you feel that it was a successful, pay-per-view, like an event overall?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I feel it really was. I knew they wouldn't get a sellout, but still 40,000 plus people to an event like that is nothing to be, nothing to sneeze at, considering the fact that no one gives a rat's ass who Devin Haney is in this country, and George is still relatively, an unknown. Before he beat T-Fime, no one knew who the hell he was. So, it's not like these blokes are established superstars. When Pacquiao came here, when he fought Jeff Horn, these guys were, still up-and-comers in the world of boxing, and to bring 40,000 people to an event like that, fantastic. That's the second biggest fight in Australian boxing history.
Yeah, here's the punch stats. Overall, let me see if I can find the overall. Oh, total punches, 588 thrown by Devin Haney, 147 landed. 480 thrown by Kambosos, 112 landed. Already right there, there's a problem. Kambosos should have been the more active fighter. Jabs, which were the key defining punch of the fight, 333 thrown by Devin Haney, 78 landed. 257 thrown by George Kambosos, 36 landed. Another problem right there. George should not be in there trying to outbox Devin Haney. Now here's the power punches. Devin Haney landed and threw more jabs than power punches. So he went 69 of 255 in power punches, and Kambosos 76 of 223. Now I see so much wrong there because, we were looking at it and watching, and I thought it was going to be just the first, couple of rounds, maybe 3 or 4. you know, where he was going to try to feel out, you know, Devin Haney to try to get a rhythm, but he was in there actually trying to outbox Devin Haney. That made no sense to me, you know, at all. You know, and to be outpunched. And I understand that, you know, he was having issues getting through the jab, but come on, there should have been, you know, I don't know what the game plan was of Kambosos, you know, if it was some weight issues, because no matter what, you know, fans may feel, he did acknowledge that he had to take a piss. So therefore, there was other things he had to do to move to lose weight. You know, and a scale calibration, he disappeared for about 90 minutes or so. So I do have to question, you know, and it is a sound argument that, you know, maybe he didn't make weight the right way and was a little drained and he didn't have his explosiveness. But another thing he said is, you know, he did try to throw out him and his father an excuse out there to where, and I'm going to ask you your thoughts on this, to where he would say that every time he would start to get, you know, a little bit of something going, that Haney would tie him up. You know, how did you feel about that? Because that's what, you know, what people are calling Haney is, you know, a boring Mayweather type of fighter. Now, Money Mayweather, not Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather, because when Floyd Mayweather was Devin Haney's age, he was knocking people out. You know, he didn't become to the real mover boxer. You know, he was always able to box, but he didn't really become that guy until later on in his career when he became Money Mayweather. Your thoughts?
Till after the De La Hoya fight.
Correct.
That's
pretty much. That was actually the turning point. Pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. That was the turning point of Floyd Mayweather's entire career. And yeah, the Haney's playing all night was jab, 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 hold. Jab, 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 hold. He didn't do, but George allowed him to hold.
And it's boxing, you know, and
Exactly.
George is supposed to, he should have known, like Devin Haney, he didn't just start fighting like this. You see what I'm saying?
This is nothing. Devin did the same boring shit he always does, but it wins in fights.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see him go up against Tank, because Tank would shove him off and beat the shit out of him. So, yeah, I mean, that's what he should have done. He should have grabbed him, threw him up against the ropes, and beat the shit out of him. I don't know.
Yeah, you know, he was allowing him, you know, but maybe he didn't have the energy, you know, to push him off, you know, because, you know, that's.
No, he was waiting for that. He was waiting. You got to remember, George is a counter puncher, a very, very good one, because he proved that in the Lopez fight. George was waiting all day, all night, to sucker Haney in so he could knock his lights out. But the thing is, Haney was too smart. He wasn't dumb and full of himself like Lopez was. Haney wasn't playing into George's trap.
Yeah.
Haney has very smart ring IQ, and he proved that. He wasn't playing into his trap. Every time he got within reach of him, he'd throw his jab out. And as Tim Bradley said in the post-fight video I saw, once you get hit by a jab, your plan gets thrown out the door. You have to reset your footwork. You have to reset your hands. You have to reset everything. And George carries his hands far too bloody low. So it's not the fact that Haney won. It's more the fact that George lost. George did everything wrong in that fight. Haney didn't do anything spectacular. Haney did enough to win. But you can't say, holy shit, that was
won
great
by a shutout.
because it wasn't.
You know, and, you know, in my opinion, it should be pretty embarrassing to George Kambosos that he lost primarily off of a jab. You know, and he
Yeah, I mean, we're all...
And he had no
you go.
second plan. He had no other game plan.
Exactly. We're all looking at it. Like I was talking to one of the other media guys going, oh, George is right. He's right. He's winning. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? George is getting his head punched in. George is losing this fight. We're all looking, by round 7, we're all looking at each other going, what the fuck is he doing?
Yeah.
We were in astonishment going, what is he doing? Because the crowd went quiet. The only time the crowd yelled was for someone to say, people saying, hit him, George, do something. That's the only time the crowd was getting vocals, when they were telling him to do something, because he just didn't do anything. We couldn't figure what the hell is he doing. Because obviously, you know, Haney wasn't playing into his plan. Haney knew George's plan, sucker Haney in, and then George would knock his ass out.
Yeah.
But Haney wasn't that stupid. Keep your range, throw the jab. Keep your range, throw the jab. That's all he needed to do. That's all he needed to do.
So what do you... Go ahead.
Full credit to Devin Haney. He outsmarted him. So you can call Devin Haney a boring batshit fire what you want. He's smarter. He won. He's the champ. So you know.
Okay, so what did you think about the scorecards where we have a now I'm going to go through these. You have 2 116 110s and 1 118 110. Now,
what did you say? No, it wasn't 116 112.
I'm sorry, 116 112. I'm sorry. This scorecard from Australia, it's in a different format than the ones we have here in the States. You know, I have it up on the screen when you get a chance to check it out. but it's all, you know, out of whack. But basically, yes, two 116 and two 112s and one 118 110. Now the 116 112s came from a Zoltan in Yedi, and where's he from? I forgot where he's from. And you have a Benoit Rousseau. Now, on this Zoltan guy's cards, he gave, let's see, he gave George rounds 2, 5, 6, and 10. And on Benoit's card, he gave George 5, 6, and 10, and 12. Now, I can understand round 12 because even Devin Haney himself.
Haney gave it to him.
Yeah, he gave it to me.
Haney gave it.
But I can agree that those middle rounds, 5 and 6, were from because I remember in the commentary I was saying that those were George's most aggressive rounds, but I can't say that he won. But do you agree with these cards? Where were you at?
I gave him round 2, 6, 9, and 12.
Okay.
So those 6 and 9 where he actually got off his ass and did something. 12, Haney gave it to him because he just danced around the ring all bloody day because he knew he won the fight. And 2 was probably you could say a swing round, but George seemed to do a little bit more in that round. But the rest of it was just, a complete and utter shutout to Haney. But then again, you know, working off the jab, I mean, you just don't know what to say. I mean, I'm still in astonishment. It's like, what was he doing?
Yeah, well, you know, now on to the next subject. Like, you know, do you want to see a rematch? And, you know, like how, you know, let's start there. Do you want to see a rematch? You know, and do you feel that, and do you feel he can, you know, do you feel he can win a rematch?
Of course he bloody can. All he has to do is do exactly what he did to bloody Lopez. Go after him. Don't just sit back. Go after him. All this, now, as we said, George is a very good counter puncher. To throw that shit out the door, every fighter you have to have a different game plan. You can't fight Haney the same way you fought Tio. They're two completely different fighters. All you need to do, because Haney does not have a lot of power. He's proved that more than once. And he, you know, if you smack him, he's going to be in trouble. So just walk through his jab and knock his head off. Yeah, if you have to take 4 or 5 jabs to get in 6 of your own punches and knock his head off, that's worth the risk. You know, because, you know, okay, his face got a little bit bruised up, but did he look really hurt? Not really.
No.
He wasn't hurt at any point in the fight. So walk through those nothing jabs and take his fucking head off. That's what I would have done.
I don't. Jeez. Well, I really feel that in a rematch it may be worse because if Devin Haney goes on the follow up with that right hand, which his corner was telling him to do, you know, then it can be night because even though he's not known to be, you know, a power puncher, you know, with the speed and the fact that Kambosos just was getting his head knocked off with a jab. You know, if Haney was to make some adjustments and follow up with the right hand, then, you know, it can be a rough night for him. You know, but as far as a rematch is concerned, here in the States, for example, it averaged, what does it say? I have the ratings here pulled up from Boxing Scene. 1.3 million viewers, you know, peaked at 1.35 million. ESPN has about 80 million viewers, or as far as... it's our biggest sports platform here in the States, and you have to have cable or satellite to get ESPN. Now, in comparison, Shakur Stevenson versus Oscar Valdez, the unification, let's see, they did about 1.4, peaked at 1.44 million viewers, but you have to understand that despite Haney, Kambosos being undisputed, you have to understand that Shakur Stevenson has been built up by Top Rank. You know, so, but to me, personally, and we don't know what the number was on the ESPN Plus app or the main event pay-per-view buys, which were $59.99 over in Australia. But me personally, I don't think this was a good, you know, performance and Devin Haney's style, even though he may be, you know, good for the hardcores. It's hard to get casual appeal for him.
Oh, I agree. I mean, as I said, Haney does when he needs to win, but he doesn't do it in spectacular fashion. So it's quite, well, dreadful was the word. It was hard to watch. I mean, it was heartbreaking because we were like, what is George doing? But then it was a typical another Haney fight. It was like, as people were saying,
yeah, I mean, that's him.
A snooze fest.
But that's unfortunately, that's him, you know, and he's not the type of guy, You know, that, some people are saying that, as he gets older, he's only 23 years old, that maybe he'll come into his power, but it has to happen now, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because, I mean, there's nothing really, I mean, as we haven't talked about this yet, but, we were going to talk about this in the video. He's had the easiest run of anyone in the four belt.
Yes, he has. Thanks for bringing that up. I mean, it's not really a run. He just beat the champion, and Kambosos, I mean, let's face it. If you look at it, Kambosos is no Jermaine Taylor.
No, not at all. So, yeah, I mean, Devin was given a belt, defended against two over-the-hill blokes, one blown-up super featherweight, and then the guy who beat the guy who beat the guy.
Yeah.
So,
well, now he is the top dog at 135 pounds, and he's talking about staying, for at least 3 more fights. He wants Lomachenko next, but understands that, it's up to George whether George is going to invoke the rematch clause or not. And we don't know where that second fight is going to be. I would not be surprised if because of, the lack of appeal, that Devin Haney has as far as, now understand boxing fans, 'cause I understand boxing fans can get real fickle and start bitching and complaining and moaning. I like Devin Haney, but we have to talk about what fans are saying. I can watch Devin Haney, but fans are calling him boring. It's not me calling him boring. Pull your fingers out your asses. It's not me. We have to acknowledge what the people are saying. So what I'm going to say is that's not the type of performance where, it's going to be bringing in a lot of high viewership. It's just not. Now, on the rematch, if the rematch does happen, I expect for it to be in a smaller venue in Australia. Big J can give you some, we're going to ask him about it next. Smaller venue in Australia. And, don't be surprised if this is going to be a regular Australian boxing fight where they have it on Wednesday nights over there. And for us on ESPN, don't be surprised if Devin Haney's main event is not until this time. You have to wake up real early in the morning and watch his fight. I don't think they're going to give him the primetime treatment for the rematch. Your thoughts?
I don't know about that one. They might do it again on prime time. I mean, it's a lot easier to do a fight, even for the Australians. It's a hell of a lot easier to do a fight on a Sunday afternoon than it is to do it on Wednesday night.
Okay.
You're going to get more people to turn up on a Sunday afternoon because people are going to go to work the next day. On Sunday afternoon, remember, in November, there's no football to compete with. All the stadiums will be free. It's going to be a hell of a lot easier.
You think it could be another stadium fight?
People to rock. Sorry?
You think it could be another stadium fight?
Oh, a smaller stadium, not a 50,000 seater. No way.
Okay, so how many do you think, that they should, the next fight? A 15,000 seat arena stadium?
Yeah, 15,000 seat. Yeah, something like that.
And you think they can sell it out? I would guess that they would.
Yeah. They remember this. Remember, as you said many times in the proofs in the pudding, Australians will watch bloody Annie. We don't care. We love a punch on. So, and if they take it to Brisbane or Sydney, or even if they have it here, I think they'll most likely have it here again. I mean, it's easy for me because it's only up the road. But, remember, no football on. The stadiums are all free. There's no competition, really. That time of year, maybe something from the cricket. But, on Sunday afternoon, no problem. No problem.
Well, if no rematch, who do you think that Kambosos should fight next? I was thinking that maybe Billy did, or maybe he should.
No. I don't. I mean, he needs a fight. He needs a fight at well, he won't fight Loma because Loma will probably fight Haney. What's Tank doing?
I don't think it's going to be Tank, but Tank doesn't have a fight or an option, and we have no clue. We don't even know if he's going to stay with Mayweather Promotions or not. So that right there would be a great fight. No matter what platform. I think, that's something that will kind of make sense, especially if Tank is able to go. The selling point would be, well, if Devin Haney couldn't stop him, then Tank maybe would be able to stop him.
Yeah, that's right. And the winner would obviously get the undisputed champ. So,
and it definitely would be a more exciting fight.
I honestly think that George is going to revoke the rematch because it'd be absolutely batshit crazy if he didn't. It's too much money to walk away
and
from.
Too many belts. politically, I feel that George is going to have to take the fight, even if he doesn't want to take the fight. It's too much going on with those belts, and kind of like I like to call it like the boxing Game of Thrones. Like you hold all of those belts, you get to control that division and the division below you, and some in parts of the division above you. Like everyone has to go through you. So it's and one of the reasons why George was able to secure that much money, because he held all the keys. So give me the money I want, or I'm not fighting none of you guys.
Exactly. I mean, if he gets the belts back and jumps up to 140, he's automatically mandatory for Tyler at WBO.
Yeah.
So,
but even Devin Haney's already acknowledged that the money's at 135 right now.
Exactly.
So and George, I don't see George being as successful. Like the 147 pounders are big. I mean, the 140 pounders are big. Those
George
140s,
stay where he is.
Those 140s can compete at 154 one day. Within like a couple of years, those guys are the top 140-pound guys are already 1 foot out the door. At 140,
That's
140. Right. So I'm not sure about that. But closing thoughts.
Great event, loved it. Disappointing main event, but shit happens. Got to give shouts out to Lucas Brown, the Maloney twins. Taylor Robinson all got good wins. Anything else we missed?
Nope. Nope. That's it.
Nah.
So
great event. Thoroughly enjoyed myself.
So with that being said, until there's another update on what's happening with Devin Haney and George Kambosos, we're going to leave it here because frankly, I am tired of talking about this fight. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Please subscribe.